police station, the fire station. We've done a lot of the life safety improvements that were identified on the facilities assessment plan that was done in 2014. So we use that basically as our way to, as the go-to place when repairs need to be made, so that we're not coming looking for a reserve fund transfer or calling a special town meeting because something comes up that we can't anticipate or we don't know. So that's really the difference between what's on this list of things we anticipate and know, and what's in this line item for townwide facilities fund are the things we don't know about and that I can't identify for you until they break or until the need is identified by, you know, anyone in our departments. One of the major limitations we have in the town is the fact that we don't have a facilities manager or facilities coordinator or maintenance coordinator. So this has really been our toolbox, if you will, for dealing with these items that come up, because we don't have one point person who can say you need to do this, this, and this. We're really on a, you know, something breaks, we have to fix it. This is where we go for that funding, and it's worked very well considering the limited resources we have. So it's included here as 35.5. The call-in center said we should be putting a minimum of 38.5 in there every year. I rounded it down just so that we could make these numbers match. I would say that if any of these other expenses on this list don't come to fruition, that we would be looking to supplement this maintenance fund with additional funding. And the best part is we don't use the money in that reserve. It can roll over because it's a separate ATM warrant article, or it can then be turned back in a future year for use in other projects. So this whole list that I just described to you right now represents about the $300,000 of guidelines. It represents $19,000 worth of Maya Safety Fund recommendations that we could use for funding, and it also represents the purchase of the highway sander, snowplow that would be funded through the special town meeting warrant, in addition to, you know, just by using the turnbacks and by using the insurance proceeds. So this represents a guide, it represents a plan that is within the guidelines set, if you wanted to look at it that way. If not, I'm happy, these are the requests. We're gonna flesh these out. I want to talk with the board on the 26th, get a better sense of what our quotes are, what this will purchase, what this will buy for the town in terms of our technology, and how we all piece that together. So I wanted to give you a sense of the bigger picture and what we're looking at.
How does that meet guideline if the budget, if the guideline was 300, because it's more than 300?
Well, take off the truck then, and it meets guideline.
It's the truck, it's 300 plus the truck.
So.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the safety credits.
And the safety
Well,
credits.
I get the safety credits, but it's 300 plus the truck.
Well, it's 300 from free cash.
300 from free cash.
The truck will be turned back from this year.
Well,
However you want to characterize it.
Use the turnbacks that way,
Yeah.
because the turnbacks can be used for anything, so it's
Right.
more than 300K in capital.
So I'm just making recommendations,
Well,
I'm telling
I
you
get
the
that, but you
need.
said it meant guideline, and I would say it's
Well-
guideline plus a truck. So I was just
Okay.
making sure I'm just being clear.
Okay, so with that, I'll just say that $300,000, if that's the guideline, then it's out of guideline, and that it becomes a policy
Yeah, but
decision
the
by the
truck's
Board of
unforeseen.
Selection.
It's an unforeseen
Right.
issue that's,
Yeah.
it's major we have to deal with.
You didn't mention the vehicles, right?
Oh, I'm
Well,
sorry.
we talked about them with both the police and the fire.
Oh,
chief.
I'm sorry, yeah,
Yeah,
I
a
forgot
lot of
those.
detail.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cruiser is,
We-
you know, the one time, and, well, not the one time, but that's the reoccurring cruiser, and then the fire engine, the vehicle repairs, the
Yeah,
18,000
we spent probably half
represents.
hour on both these.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah,
So
we're
I
good.
won't bore you.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure that
Yep.
nobody was thinking we were skipping.
But you missed that, so do you have questions on it?
You better not.
I missed the police cruiser, I missed the fire.
you
Oh, you
better
didn't miss the
not.
fire one?
Police cruisers every year.
You know, hey,
I don't
I don't make these decisions and I don't
We
vote,
needed
I'm
it
just
every year.
identifying them for you, and you can have your.
Who reviews if we really need a police cruiser every year? I mean, I know it's worked well, the chief said it's similar with
Well,
what the state police are doing in terms of the number of years, that what do you say, 100,000 of a car
Yeah.
for a police car is not the same, because all the
It's not
idle
the
time that's
idle
on
time,
there,
Yeah.
which I never
Idle.
thought about before.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
One piece, it sounds like Masconomet may be talking about an article.
Yeah.
for certain repairs to get them to bigger picture renovations.
Mhm.
And I don't know if they've talked to you.
They never have.
Yeah, we learned that last
handled
week,
it
too.
Yeah.
completely separate as an ATM warrant article, and
Yeah,
that's.
which is, it's fine, but it's $150,000-ish to Topsfield.
Well, I think there needs to be a discussion about what is capital and where it should all go. I mean, it's easy for me to come to you and say, these are the requests that have been brought to me by, you know, the department heads and the committees, and I'm trying not to represent them as, yes, this is the decision to go. I'm trying to lay out a plan or a master
Yeah, the
plan
issue
or
is
some
that
recommendation.
historically, each of these individual budgets have not had enough maintenance dollars in there, so.
Yeah.
I say the fiscal conservative person would say that the maintenance budget should be in the base budget, and we need to find cuts to cover the maintenance, as opposed to the current base budget plus maintenance is the same as the current base budgets plus a larger capital expense.
Mhm.
So I think the right way to do it is that the base budget should already have meaningful maintenance lines in there.
Mhm.
So we don't have the
Repurposed.
rolling issues that we have.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't just be added on top of the existing budgets. That's the change,
Right. I'd agree.
yeah. Which, you can go to the way the school roofs were done, right? Part of that was because we do a lot of Scotch tape and bubble gum around here, and it adds up.
Yeah. Scotch tape and bubble gum doesn't get you very far after 20 or 30 years.
Duct tape's better.
Duct tape?
I meant duct tape.
Oh,
And
okay.
WD-40.
Okay, do you wanna talk about the warrant articles?
No,
Okay.
I've talked too much.
I mean, a
It's
lot
only
of
9:15.
it's,
I just gotta know what the citizen's petition for plastic bags is all about.
Oh, I will get you the citizen petition. I didn't realize that you hadn't received
No,
any of
we haven't.
those.
Yeah.
I'll get you those tomorrow
because
with this email.
that's all closed, those are
Yes.
in, yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing.
to ban plastic bags.
All right.
I'll email those to the chair tomorrow, so
Okay.
she can get those to everyone.
More questions for Kevin?
Is there gonna be one consent agenda this year?
There'll be two.
I think so, there'll be at least two.
There'll be two, as you see, I think the asterisk, if you look at the warrant articles, you see
Yeah,
the,
that's the double starts. or
Oh,
triple
okay,
starts.
yeah. Thank you.
Triple stars.
yeah,
Those are
again,
capital items.
there was a question of this, there was a question of this at the last ATM, and as far as the consent agenda allows, is anybody can pull any one of those out if they wanna discuss it. It's not like we're trying to ram something through, it's just more convenient. And if we go to, let's face it, folks, if we go to secret ballot to vote for every one of these things, we're in a lot of trouble.
We'll be there for 2 days.
We'll be there for a week. But
Okay.
we will be using the consent agenda.
Okay, there were no other departments for tonight. Thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome.
Do we have any updates or discussions among ourselves? Operating budgets, revenues, other expenditures?
Since I talked so much about public works tonight, I'll just say, snow and ice is trending toward over budget, but depends on the weather. I mean, basically because of December. And all prices and labor go up.
So just hope for no more snow and those, that might be it.
Or no Sandra. Tell Dave he needs to hold the line.
Okay. I don't think there are any others. We can approve the minutes of February 5th.
Motion to approve as written.
Second.
abstain. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain Eric because he was not present. Correspondence, other than discussing John's, conversion of John's remarks into a letter to the editor, there was not other correspondence.
Yeah, and last week we asked everybody to review and send edits. I didn't receive any edits, I received one comment. It was from Mike, and he wanted to remove one line. But I think, I didn't hear that from anybody else, and I think it adequately reflects sort of the sentiment of the committee here. So if people have edits, let us know, we can edit that, but we should probably
Wrap it up and
wrap
vote.
it up, yeah.
Those edits might have to be discussed here though, as opposed to via email.
I didn't receive any edits.
I know, but
So the question
it
is,
probably shouldn't be done via email, it should probably be done at the meeting.
oh, like, no, what I was gonna do was if people sent me individual edits, I was gonna bring the letter redlined with
I-
everybody's edits so we can discuss
I
it.
know, but if 3 people sent you edits, then that's an open meeting law problem.
No, the instructions were for people to send me, well,
I thought the
Nothing-
instructions were to make edits, but I
Correct.
didn't, and bring them back
That's fine.
for the meeting.
oh, gotcha. Do you have edits?
I don't, but I'll get you some. For the meeting.
Gotcha.
Okay,
So I misunderstood the instructions. I thought, based on the conversation, one of the two of you were going to reformulate that into a letter to the editor. Because that was your raw notes from the meeting.
Correct, and I handed it out last week.
Right.
Which already addressed Karen's edits, which were just changing that intro
I
line.
reformatted it into a letter.
The intro
Oh,
line.
you did?
Yeah, and you had a paper version of that last week, yeah.
I did?
Yeah, I handed it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was your speech.
I thought it was too, so.
Yeah, no, it is
You still
verbatim,
have it?
other than I don't have it with me.
Okay.
It's just the first line, just so it, instead of saying thank you for coming tonight,
So there was one minor word that I thought was a typo,
Yep.
but I thought
Put in
we were gonna see a revision of it this week, so I didn't bother to,
Okay.
gotcha.
so I'll send you.
So that
Okay.
would be,
bylaw?
So I'll put it on the agenda for the
I don't
26th,
think it
Right.
is.
and
We can just do final
Stipulation
edits.
We can hash through it.
Read it again.
Perfect.
and send it in.
If not,
Okay.
except for the board of selectmen, but.
No topics not reasonably anticipated. So upcoming meetings, the 26th, we've got John's letter, or John's remarks into a letter.
That would be good.
And would the elementary folks come in, John?
I don't have the date, but
Okay.
I think it's the 26th.
I think the 26th, they have a meeting tomorrow night to discuss the budget, hopefully.
Correct, their hope that they actually they haven't taken action on anything since the original, so,
Okay.
but I said, you should be coming in and briefing us on what's going on, so
On where you're at,
They-
not the final necessarily.
they all but confirmed for the 26th when I was with them.
Okay.
So I'll check again with them.
I don't have anything else on the schedule for the 26th, so it might be
Yeah.
good to get them in.
Yeah, I think we've been through everybody else, really.
I haven't talked about the water infrastructure, but I don't foresee any issue there.
Yeah.
You wanna have them come in and give an update on where they are?
I don't think they want to come in, I'm trying to
So send you my contact information.
convince them to come in and let us know how the projects are
Send
going.
it to you, I'll send it.
They
And
should
where
come
things
in
are
and
at.
give us an update.
But
Yeah,
I don't
and the
think
same
water
with
station is
holidays.
water.
The same with holidays,
Yeah.
they should
Copying
come in.
you on.
It's not a budget implication per se, because that's already rolling, but if they would.
Okay.
What's the time?
I'll invite them.
For the most
You
part.
want them
on
the
it's pretty
26th,
positive.
Well, in
schools.
fact,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, they could do that.
Yep.
Probably water before schools,
Yeah, I think so.
if possible. I think there is possibly a warrant article for a sprinkler system
Oh, yeah, that
for
was
the
a,
highway
that
garage.
was
Public-
a
Public
carryover
Works,
from
though, I
last
think.
year.
Yeah, so what
Yeah.
happened was, they were gonna split the cost.
Because the original building is plumbed, but doesn't have the pump to fill the water, so there's no
Yeah.
sprinkler system.
Right, but then we decided to keep them separate, and so they were gonna come back to it this year. to us this year, but I can't remember, I think the number was 75,000, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 65, 35,
It
it
was-
was $100,000.
It was 75 last year, we were gonna put it together last year, I haven't seen it yet, I was gonna follow up with Dave,
Okay.
because that would be another number that if you're considering that part of the 300, I'm back to square one
Yeah.
with my guidelines.
Well, we can,
With your
we can
guidelines, I should say,
resort.
they're not my guidelines, they're
Yeah.
your guidelines, that's fine.
but that would be something else,
Yeah,
if some of
should
that's
be
to be
something.
funded by water.
Mhm.
You know, either we're gonna talk about it with David or Greg or both.
I
There
put a
wasn't a year, there
placeholder,
wasn't a year in the budgets.
no, and I
No.
put a placeholder on the warrant because I wasn't sure what was gonna happen with that. And it's really a policy discussion about who covers what portion, because last year, when it went on the agenda, it was assumed to be a part of the water treatment plant construction.
That's right.
It wouldn't have been necessary had it not been for the water treatment plant and the increased need for capacity for the sprinkler system at the DPW building. And then it got derailed, and then we said we'd bring it back, and so we haven't really fleshed that out yet, but I have it on my list of items.
For the
I think, I don't know if it's
For
on here.
capital?
No, it's not in capital, because I just assumed that it would be a separate standalone. I have it as 27, highway water facility sprinkler system. Because I would consider that to be, you know, that's directly related to a construction project and how you know, the policy by which you decide which portion of the building it should be attributed to, enterprise fund or general fund or free cash. That's a policy decision that I don't wanna step too far ahead of myself. And I was just making the assumption that it was a carryover from the warrant article from last year. So that,
And there was some thought it might be less,
It was part of the whole project, right?
Right.
or if it was done separately, bid separately.
right, and they were trying to see what they could do in-house versus getting an outside person to come in to do it.
And
So that's-
manage it themselves.
So I have a placeholder on here, but I know we need more information on that.
Okay, so
Mr.
we're not.
Mr. Guy's asking something, so I don't know if you want.
Oh,
May I engage on that discussion about the sprinkler in the highway garage?
in regards to the split or the cost or whether it's needed?
Where it tends to be, if I make some comments relative to it?
If you're quick, because.
Yes, my understanding is, and this goes back to special town meeting, there was a desire to put this in the special town meeting, and it was put in for the water department to pay for the sprinkler system in the garage. And the derailment came because there were some real issues doing with it, because the garage is more than just the water department.
Sorry.
My understanding about this is that there was as part of the construction project for the water treatment plant, we needed a pump that would provide
Yeah.
pressure
Yeah.
to do the sprinkler. When they did that, they said, you know, we really never sprinkled the garage, which has nothing to do with the water treatment plant per se. We never sprinkled the garage, so why don't we spec a larger pump for
They can do
the
both.
project?
Yes.
And then provide some money to
To make
put
the
that
connection
sprinkler
up.
system go. So there's no real relationship between sprinkling the garage and the water treatment plant, except that this other stuff is going on. And they did, in fact, the water treatment plant has kind of picked up the additional cost for the bigger pump. But to sprinkle the actual garage
It's separate.
is separate
Yeah,
and should be shared between the water and the highway department, which was the issue at special town meeting. So
Yeah.
if it would come back, I would expect that again, since they both share the garage, they would also share the cost
Share the
of doing
cost,
that.
yeah.
If there's a choice to go ahead and do that. It isn't something that, they may not come forward and do that, they may decide it's not worth it or something at this point. But that's the history as I remember.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
that's correct, that would be helpful.
So I think it was more than just the garage, it was the public safety building as well, not just the garage. So I think there was a piece of it that was just owned by public safety and not the shared garage. So I may be incorrect, but I'll try to find out.
There was
from
one
Dave
public
and Greg.
safety?
No, from the public works building, excuse me, it was the main building, not just the garage.
The office space
The office,
within the garage, okay. Yeah, I think it's all the same, though, because
Okay, so when
Because
you're
it-
saying the garage, I wasn't following you, I thought maybe there was a house, just
No,
for the vehicles,
no, the
so.
facility,
Okay.
the whole
And,
facility.
and the office space is shared between highway and water, and the garage is
So we're,
shared,
we're saying the
Yeah.
same thing.
partially.
Yeah.
Yep.
More highway in that
Yeah.
garage, but still, it's shared, and so they have to work, the idea is that they would work that out, instead of charging it all to water, and then doing some other things on the other side, is the way that we're talking about doing it at STM.
The highway
that
would pay
wasn't
some other
clean.
costs somewhere,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't live with an accountant's heart very easily.
Thank you.
Okay, so the 26th with hopefully water and some.
7 o'clock, try to get them up 7.
Yeah, yeah, they'll do 7 and then,
It's a 7:04, 7:04 for me.
Hey, traffic from Boston.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
I've never been later than 7, 8 now.
Never.
An elementary and John's remarks, and then we'll have a meeting March 5th, March 12th. And Mondays in March. And those will be more discussions about this.
That's our busy month.
Yeah, with the goal of being done before the end of March for the warrant.
Yep.
So Kelly, the 26th or the 5th, there'll be some kind of warrant fleshed out.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna have.
All right,
Madam Chair,
oh, David,
could I just throw out one idea?
yeah,
With the excess free cash this year, I just had a thought for consideration. Maybe you want to set up a special stabilization fund for Masco Capital. If you're looking for,
yeah,
you know, we know that it looks like there's some serious capital requests coming down the road for that Habib study. It just might be a good use for some of the excess free cash. So it's just a thought
okay.
you might want to consider.
Yeah. It could go to its own, or we could draw out of the
Yeah.
2 existing stabilization funds we have to
That's
cover
true.
those
And the
costs.
question is the cost of that is going to be probably way more substantial than any cash that we would have in stabilization fund, which would likely require a borrowing of some sort.
Oh, when they
Yeah.
get to their real project,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
When they're doing these little bits and pieces, that's more a pay-as-you-go thing, and in fact, they're paying some of it themselves out of their E&D. Yeah, yeah, it's certainly something to consider, just with the trade-offs of, okay, once you put it in there for a particular reason, then that's the only way you can pull it out. So,
Right.
yeah, 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 thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Dana. All in favor?
Aye.
Just tell us what the numbers.
No, no, I didn't.
It's still up there.
Kelly,
Kelly,
did you see it?
Yeah,
I
it's
did.
8%. The very last
Is
page.
that just for us or is it for everybody?
For us, it's 8% plus 1% from them.
Usually, yeah.
That's the last page of the whole book.
Oh, in the whole book, of course. Why did I think of that? It should start at the end.
Yeah, right there.
That one wasn't being recorded, that one wasn't being videotaped either.
Yeah, this is.
I am.
Do we talk about that? Is that about
Oh,
that?
Right, that's what he was saying.
How much? What?
That was just like, yeah.
I don't know. Just when I think
No, so I guess the question I'm gonna ask Jen, obviously, I'm gonna follow up with her, talk to her a little bit about it.
Oh, yes,
This is exactly that, and how much would that is in OSHA regulation where that, where it has to be a certain amount of time? And there's gotta be some sort of standard around it, I mean, she's. But yeah, no, it's a good question for us to have an understanding. Because
we would like to go.